Hello everybody! In today's recipe we're going to be showing you how to make a herb pita. For our ingredients for our filling we have some cut up spinach, 1 egg, we've got some parsley, mint and fresh spring onions. The rest of our ingredients are for the dough, which we have flour, corn flour and some salt. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to get some black pepper and add it on top of our spinach. For all of our greens, we have made sure to wash them thoroughly, and we advise that you do the same. Next up, we're going to add some salt, olive oil, and with your hand, you're just going to mash it up like this. And keep on doing that, just to massage the salt in. Next up, we're going to add our spring onions. We would also like to mention that we did not boil our spinach, because on some of the recipes you see that include spinach for making pitas, they often boil it, but we're not going to do that. Next up, we're going to add 1 egg. You may have noticed that when you're mashing it up like this with your hand, it often does shrink, so you might think that you have a lot more than you need, but it will shrink. And then next up, we added some parsley and some mint. These are all fresh herbs that you can get from your local supermarkets or markets. And obviously, this is a very healthy recipe because everything in here is a vegetable, like a green, healthy plant. And you cannot forget how good it smells. It just smells so fresh. That's our filling done. That's how easy and quick it was to make this filling for our pita. Now that we've finished making the filling, we're going to start making the dough. To make the dough, you need 750 grams of plain flour. We used a sieve to make sure that it's all sieved through and it can mix better without any knots. It's preferred that you use bottled water just for a better outcome. And that's what we're going to do, using some bottled still water. And with your hand, you're just going to knead it all together. And as soon as you feel like all the water's been absorbed, you're going to add more until you get a dough texture. On a clean surface, we're going to put the dough out. Most of the kneading should be done on a counter, just because it's going to be a lot better. And, of course, a lot easier. With some corn flour, we're just going to sprinkle some on our kitchen surface. And with both of your hands, start just kneading the dough in this type of motion. Keep doing this until you find that there is no clumps or knots in your dough. After leaving our dough to rest for 10 minutes, now we're going to start dividing it into parts, leading on to then making our filos for our pita. We sprinkled a lot more corn flour now because we're gonna put the actual filos on it, and we wouldn't want it to stick. So from the dough you have, you're just gonna divide it into as many pieces as you can. Preferably this type of size, which is just a handful. And start individually kneading each one. Continue doing this for all of them. Now that we've made sure that they're all into mini filos, which we're gonna layer on, we're gonna add some oil. You can either add oil or you can add butter. Choice is yours. Either way, they're gonna turn out pretty much similar. And now they should be oiled up just like this. Now that we've made sure that they're all into mini filos, which we're gonna layer on, we're gonna add some oil. You can either add oil or you can add butter. Choice is yours. Either way, they're gonna turn out pretty much similar. And now they should be oiled up just like this. Now we're gonna add a tiny bit of corn flour on top. If you watched our other video, which we made a while ago, about sharing the secret of making pita filos, we discussed how important it is that you don't forget to add a tiny sprinkle of corn flour on top of your filos after you oil them up. Something about this just really makes the pita filos taste so much better. Now we're gonna obviously layer them up. We're gonna use 4 on each side. Or actually just basically add half of your filos to one side and half to the other. And flip the last one upside down so that the oiled layer is on the bottom. On the non-oiled side, which is at the top, should be at the top, we're gonna add our corn flour, and this is what we're gonna use just so that we can open our filo out. Corn flour is really important because you don't want anything to stick, as that can just ruin everything. We're gonna make this cross-hatching kind of shape with our rolling pin, just so that we can get it to be smoother when we roll it out. Doing the cross-hatching pattern ensures that all the filos are stuck together and none of them are gonna just slip out when you're rolling it like this. And that's how you get the perfect filo every time. Once you master this, obviously you can do any pita you desire. You have to be quite vigorous with it because the slower you are, the higher chance that you have of it just sticking together. On an oiled tray, we're gonna add our base with the first filo we made. And obviously the second filo is for the top so that we can seal everything in. take the edges of it, just the ones that are sticking out, and stick them to the corners, just so that you can have your crust. And that should be your base. Done. Now we're going to show you us putting the filling in. I'm going to strain just a tiny bit. Strain as much as you can with your hand on the go, because at the end of the day it's gonna evaporate when you're baking it. And that's the filling, almost done, just right now. The same thing that you did to open the base filo, you're going to do for the top as well, and then you're going to seal it and have your pita ready. Now that we also did the same to our top filo, we're going to add it on top just like this, and then in a preheated oven of 200 degrees Celsius, we're going to add it in the oven. Until it has a golden color on top. For the corners, make sure that you tuck them in just so the presentation can be a lot neater. Tiny bit of oil. And now we're going to cut it. We're cutting it into triangle shapes, but if you want anything else, you can go ahead and do that. I'm gonna cut like a circle type of shape in the middle, just so we can have a few smaller slices, because obviously the whole slice itself is kind of big. And off it goes to the oven until it becomes a nice golden color. After 15 minutes at 200 degrees Celsius, you can see that the pita is now ready, and it looks so delicious. Can't wait to eat this. It smells fantastic as well, just like you'd expect herbs to smell. If you enjoyed this recipe, please make sure you like, comment and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this and excellent recipes you can follow at home.